everyone, how are you all? I hope you're all doing great. Today I finally found time to sit down and record for you some nursing series where I'm going to be sharing my knowledge and my experience of being an enrolled nursing student at TAFE Queensland, Australia. So I thought this would be the best time because now I have sort of like a transitional holiday months from finishing my diploma and before entering the uni this February. So yeah, as I'm free now, sort of free, I can find some time to actually sit down and record these videos. So I put in bullet points all the topics that I want to talk about concerning my studies, you know, at Diploma of Enrolled Nursing at TAFE, and each topic is going to be dedicated to a separate video, and in that video I'll try to touch in details things that I want to share about, you know, concerning that topic and stuff like that. So I'll try to stay focused, I'll try to stay close to the point, not to talk too much, you know, and drifting away to different topics and stuff like that. This is why for today's video I actually have a list of things that I want to talk about, and some of the things I'll try to show you on a computer as well, so just so you could have a little bit of like a visual picture in your head how things look like and stuff like that. So today's topic for the video is starting Diploma of Enrolled Nursing. What does it take, and also what additional cost it involves. So basically, when I started my Diploma of Enrolled Nursing, I started with researching about the course. So basically you can go to TAFE website, okay, online, and you can type in Diploma of Enrolled Nursing and it will give you all the information about the course. So pretty much now I have my phone open on that website, you know, and when I'm looking at their information shown on a website, you will have a description of the course, then you will have a course overview more in details of how many subjects or units you're going to be learning during this course, what the names of those units and things like that. Then you will have ways to study, which will talk about the payment, about choosing the loan and stuff like that. Then they will give you payment options as well, and then it will have you give you important information on enrollment requirements and then how to apply. So they're really informative in terms of information. They will put all in details, and then if you have any questions, you can always call them, and they will have like a customer service online where you can ask and a live person, like a real person, all your questions that you have, and they will answer it all. Like, they're really helpful in that. So basically, in this course, I was studying full-time, okay? I chose to study full-time, but they will give you options either to study online, part-time, flexi, or full-time. Of course, each of these ways will differ in terms of periods of time. Full-time is the quickest one, so as online, because online you can actually choose how many units you want to take per semester and stuff like that, whereas part-time it goes a little bit longer, and flexi it's like a distant learning. So partly you will come for the labs practice to the campus, and then the rest you will be doing individually at home. So I don't know much of details about that. This is what I've heard from other students. This is what I briefly read online, but I've never done this type of studies before. I always had full-time studies, whether I've done certificates before here in Australia or this diploma. I always choose full-time because for me personally, I like to actually come to the class. I like to see the teachers, I like to interact with the teacher, I like to ask questions, you know, any questions I have, you know, ongoingly while the teacher is discussing certain topics, you know. And I also like to have a routine. I know that today I have a class, I have to wake up at a specific time and I have to go to be in the class. Whereas if I would be studying online at home, I have to actually push myself, you know, to wake up, go to the computer, study particular unit, you know, and then do assessments on it or a quiz and stuff like this. And you know, like, let's be honest, when you're at home, studying at home, you will find thousands of reasons not to sit down and study. You will remember that you have to do washing, you will remember that you have to do cooking, shopping, you know, looking after the kids, or you just basically sit down to the computer and you will feel sleepy and you will go and lay down to sleep. So this is why for me it was really important to actually be there in the class, interact with the students, with the teacher, and just get the information that way. So as I said, my course full-time was 18 months. Okay, that involves your classes, your placements, which means your clinical practice at the hospital. Okay, that involves your exams, your assessments, and that involves also the term holidays, because you will TAFE goes basically the same with the school as the school holidays. Whenever schools here, government schools, have holidays, the same you will have at TAFE. Okay, I don't know why my nose is always running when I start to do videos. I think I'm just, at the back of my head, I'm nervous. Maybe you can't see it on a video, but I do nervous inside what I'm going to say. You know, I might stay close to the topic and stuff like that, so like my nose starts to run. Okay, so next, when you check all your information online, okay, the most important part, I guess, for people like me who came to Australia from the country where English is not the first language, is requirements for the course. Okay, so basically when I was starting Diploma of Enrolled Nursing, that was 18 months ago, that was the last time, okay, chance for students like me to enter to the course without IELTS or any other academic English test. Now the system changed. It actually changed after first semester of my studies. So I don't know if I was lucky enough, because English course, academic IELTS or PTE or OET or TOEFL, they quite hard English tests, and I don't know if that would be a requirement back then. Maybe it would turn me off and maybe even delay my starting date for the studies, because you have to prepare yourself for those tests. You have to study, you have to know the system, you have to know the structure of the test, what they want from you on that test, and you have to have a good vocabulary, and you have to have also listening skills, writing skills, you know, your grammar should be good and stuff like that. So this is, I think, a turning point to a lot of immigrants who come to Australia. Actually, that English test is really hard. So back then, and it sounds so long ago, but it was just 18 months ago. So back then, we didn't have requirement yet for English test as academic test. We only had requirement for students like me, a test called BKSB test, which is basically your numerosity and literacy test, okay, where you will be tested on your grammar for English, and then you will be tested on your math skills, which will be algebra, geometry, and just the basic math. Okay, so everything you learned in your high school and through the years till the high school, you will be tested for the maths, and the same for English. That wasn't that hard, okay, it wasn't that hard, but you need to know your formulas for maths and stuff like that. You just need to revise all of this, and Google can help you with that. You know, if you are someone like me who finished high school some time ago, you need to remind yourself all those things. But pretty much it's not that hard. So with BKSB test, you need to get a minimum of level 3 in both parts, which is your English and math. And if you will get above, that will be nice. So I've got 5 and 5 in both of them, actually. So with my maths, I'll tell you honestly, my hubby was helping me, and it was a little bit easier for me because I did forget a lot of formulas, and I wasn't that strong in maths when I used to be a school student. So he helped me with some formulas. He was really good with maths when he was younger, and with English I've done all by myself. So that was it regarding the English test. Now you have to do IELTS test, or you can do OET test, or PTE, or TOEFL test. So they actually have on their website list of tests that you can choose from, and they will tell you which score or which band you have to achieve in each of these tests. Like for example, now for IELTS, it used to be 6.5 on each of categories and then 7 overall. Now it's 7 in each parts and 7 overall. So they just raised it a little bit, I think last year as well. Okay, so doctors now and us nurses have the same benchmark for these tests basically. And also they will tell you you will need to do one of these academic English tests, and still you have to do BKSB test. I don't know why, but 2 tests are still there. So I guess you need to call them, because this is what I've checked on a website just before I started this video. It's still 2 tests there. I don't know why they left BKSB test, maybe for the purpose of math, because when you do your Diploma of Nursing and when you start to work as a nurse in a hospital, you will need to know your basic math. You need to know your calculations, because you will be calculating doses, you will be calculating also tablets, you know, and stuff like that. You will be doing your IVs, which again you will need to do your basic calculations. There are specific formulas that you have to follow. So you need to have this math sort of background, which is not that hard, as I said. It's really basic, it's really simple. So I think this is the reason why they left BKSB test, because English part of it is really easy comparative to IELTS, academic IELTS. So yeah, so that's regarding English. Then when you finish this course, okay, like as for me now, because I didn't do my IELTS prior to starting the course, when I finish my course, I will need to do IELTS now for registration, and they actually tell you on preview and description of the course, I think it's in the requirements section, that you will need to do an English proficiency test in order to get your registration. But because the whole course is 18 months, and if you're starting now, when they have these requirements for English test prior to study your course, you will have your IELTS active still until you finish your course, because the time for IELTS is 2 years until it expires. So your course is 18 months, so pretty much you will need to do it once only. If you do it in the beginning, once you finish your course, you're not gonna do second IELTS again, unless you delay your application for upper registration. But I would suggest you to do it right after you've got your academic transcript for all your subjects. You know, just apply for registration right away, so that the time and the period of time of your IELTS test wouldn't expire. So yeah, this is pretty much it. So for me now, I have to do my IELTS because I didn't do it before, and I will get my registration. And then when I finish my uni, and I will gain my qualification to become a registered nurse, because I already have registration, will have registration with APRA to become an enrolled nurse practitioner. I don't have to actually do another IELTS test again. So my registration now will be enough to have a second registration of RN without doing any IELTS test, which is quite great, because at the beginning first I thought, oh, I have to do IELTS twice, you know, and then my teachers told me, no, you don't have to actually, just do it once, you know, go to registration. If you're doing any further studies to become RN, you don't have to do it again. So that was a relief. Okay, next you will find information about the payment. So you will have few payment types, I would say, because if you're an international student, this is the highest amount that you will be paying. So this course will cost you 24,000 if you're an international student. If you're a domestic student like me, which means you are either on PR or you are an Australian citizen. So I've got my Australian citizenship 2 years ago. So I was a domestic student. For me, full-time study would be 21,000. Okay, I think it's $21,645. This is the full fee for the course. Then you can apply for something called subsidized. This is applies that government give domestic students, and I think they give it to permanent resident, which is PR, people here in Australia as well. So this will make your course to go down in price. Basically, you will be paying from 11,580 to 13,260, somewhere in this bracket. And if you are on Centrelink, which means a government support, if you are unemployed, you've been a mom at home looking after the kids and stuff like this, and you have only your partner working, let's say, you can apply for something called concession, which will bring the course price even down from 9,785 to 11,465. All this information you can find online on TAFE website. At the moment, these are the numbers, but they tell you there that every semester the number can actually change, the price for the course can change, so you have to be frequently checking it. And also, what happened to me is I remember when we started, after first semester was finished, the price of the course went a little bit down or something, I don't know, and they've done the reimbursement for us. So basically they've done the difference and they calculated it and took it out from us, so we don't have to pay higher amount for the full course. I don't remember what was the number that we have to pay. I have to check with my taxation office. But yeah, so if any changes will happen during your course, they will do that difference for you guys, so you don't have to pay like the full price. This is what happened to us. I don't know if this will be still current for the new students in 2020, but again, I'm just sharing my own experience. Okay, so I would strongly advise you, if you're on a government payment, okay, put yourself on something called Study when you become a student, okay, because this will cover you up during your placements, and this will also cover your living, because if you're not working and you're just studying, you will need to pay some money towards your studying. You will need to have some access payment for other costs that the study will involve, that I will talk a little bit later in this video. And of course, just check with TAFE itself, just call them, give them a call, this is what I've done, and check which of the types of payment is applicable for you. Is it concession, is it subsidized, or is it going to be a full payment? Okay, because this is really important. This will make a difference to you of how much you will be paying to them. Me personally, I have two loans. Okay, I have a fee help loan and I have a vet fee loan. Okay, so now I owe to the government exactly $12,496 or $95. This is my money that I have to pay to the government for this 18 months of course. Once my income reach, I think the threshold now for the income 51,900 something, it's almost 52,000. So once you start to earn per year 52,000, the government will be deducting slowly this money that you owe them, that you took for your loan. Okay, so now I already started paying it back, because as many of you know, I started to study and then I've got my job as well from one of my placements. So I'm earning now enough to actually be paying that money back now again. So they started to deduct. It's not really much they deduct, to be honest. Sometimes it comes like, I think it's by percentage, but I didn't study in details. Sometimes they deduct from me $50 per fortnight, because this is how my salary goes every 2 weeks. Or sometimes they deduct a bit more, above 100 and stuff like this. Depends on how many shifts I took, I guess, and how much I earned that 2 weeks. I don't know how it works exactly, but yeah, I'm starting already pay it off, and I'm happy actually to start to pay it off now while I'm working and studying, because I want to just to finish this quick. So that was for the loan types. As I said again, please do your research, call TAFE, and if there is any changes or any questions you have in your head, please ask them and they will explain to you in really good details. Okay, then What other costs will be involved in this course? Actually, they discuss again this information on their website when you research about Diploma of Enrolled Nursing. So immunization, okay? You will need immunization to certain disease before you start this course, and mainly you will need this for your clinical placements in a hospital, and also for your clinical placements, or not clinical, but just for your placements in aged care. Okay, why? They will need to protect you from other patients who have this disease or may have this disease, and also they want to know if you're immune to certain disease as well, because this is basically for your own protection. Because in Australia we have so many different nationalities, every country has their own list of immunization that usually we take when we are children. So when I was doing mine, I found that to some of them I was already immune because I've got it when I was a child, whereas Australian people didn't have it here at all, so they needed to take it, you know. So again, it will differ from where you came from, okay? But basically they will give you a list, which I'm going to find it now, and I'll just try to show you. Okay, so here you will have immunization for measles, mumps, rubella. Okay, you will need to show evidence of 2 vaccinations, 1 month apart, or positive serology for all 3 diseases. Then you will need to do your hepatitis B, 3 injections if you're not immune to that. And then you will need to have your varicella, which is a chickenpox evidence, and then DTPA, which is diarrhea, tetanus, and pertussis disease, and tuberculosis as well. So basically what you will need to do to show if you're immune or not, before you commence to do any of these immunizations, you will need to go to your GP and do a serology blood test. Okay, and here is my advice to you about serology blood test. Please do not mention that you're doing it for studies, because they will charge you for it. And I've done my mistake, and I was so proud and so happy that I'm starting my enrolled nursing, you know, and I had at that time I had a GP that I used to go to for my other health conditions, and because I knew her and I thought that she, not my friend, but she is sort of like a nice person and stuff like that, I thought I will share with her and say like, oh, I'm studying, you know, and I'm so happy, like I'm starting nursing and blah blah blah. So when she sent me to do my serology test to know if I'm immune to all this disease, I found that I needed to pay, okay? And then when I researched online and stuff like this, actually Medicare can cover this. You don't have to mention that you're doing for studies, because when GPs, when the doctors hear that you're doing this for studies or for work or for whatever reason that will bring you money, they will tell you you have to pay for it, and there is nothing you can do anymore unless you go somewhere else and you change the doctor. Yeah, I needed to pay for my one. It's quite expensive. I think I paid $180 back then for it. So yeah, do not mention why you need it for, okay? So once you do the serology test, I think it takes 3 days. They will give you results, and when your GP will be sending you for the serology test, she will put a list in a referral of which disease they want to test you for, and then when the results come, you will see which ones you're immune to and which ones are not. So I was only immune to one. I think it was tuberculosis, because we have this vaccination back in my country, but for the other ones I needed to do my immunization. I needed to do my vaccination. Okay, so how does this happen? For hepatitis B, for example, you will have a choice to do a fast track, or you will have a normal one. So normal one, you will have 3 shots, which will be first one, then months apart, or 3 weeks apart, then the second one, and then after 6 months you will have a third one. Okay, for all immunization you will need to buy actually vaccination by yourself. You will need to go to the doctor will give you a prescription, and you will need to go to the pharmacy and buy this vaccination, bring it back to your GP clinic. They will put it on a fridge, and either the same day or the day next after, they will do vaccination to you. Okay, so you have to pay it from your own pocket. I would suggest, if you are working and studying, keep all these receipts so that in the end of the financial year you can actually claim it from your tax. And be careful, when you get the receipt from the pharmacy, they print it on certain type of paper and ink that raises off by itself. Like I was I wouldn't call myself stupid, but I didn't know that, and I've kept all my receipts and I put them in a notebook and I just piled them up in a notebook. And then when the time came to do my tax return, I found that most of them is just gone. The writing, the print was gone, and I was like, I was so upset because I wanted to use it, and I thought like maybe I will need to scan it and stuff like that for my tax return as a proof. And I couldn't find any writings anymore. So my suggestion to you, when you get your when you pay for your vaccination in a pharmacy, just take a phone and just take a photo of your receipt, okay? Or if you have a scanner at home, just scan it and just keep it in a specific folder on your computer or something, all your immunization and stuff like that, because you will spend roughly about $700 to $800 on immunization. Yes, it's quite expensive. So you will some of them will cost you $49 per shot, per one vaccine. Some of them will be $29, some of them will be $35. I don't remember how much is each. You can check it by yourself even online. But yeah, it's quite expensive, so just keep the receipts. Okay, so that was regarding immunization. And also, TAFE, once you enroll to the course, they will tell you, please start as soon as possible doing your immunization, because if you're not immune to something like hepatitis B, it takes time to finish all 3 shots, all 3 vaccinations, because they have a period of time in between all of them, especially if the last 2 will have 6 months apart between them. So I think it wasn't 6, I think it was 3 months apart, or 6 months, something like this. I remember it was really, really long. So basically, when you start your first semester, your first placement, when you will go to the working field to practice, will be in the end. So you will have the 6 to 5 months to prepare yourself. This is why it's really important to actually start right away when you start your course. Go to your GP, do serology test, and start to work on your immunization. Because if you are not in time with your immunization, if you won't show the evidence to your VPC person at TAFE, if you're immune or not to certain disease, she's not gonna let you to do your placement. And if you don't do your placement, you don't get the required hours that you need to provide as evidence to your registration with APRA, because this is really important. So yes, always start early. Okay, next, when you do your course, you will have a database or a portal, online portal, where you and all other students will be logged in to check information, to check your messages, to get the learning resources from, and to see which units you are studying in each particular semester. So for TAFE, we had something called TAFE Connect, okay, and this is like a big database or a student portal where you can have all your subjects or all your units for that particular semester. And when you go to each unit, you will have actually learning resources, your assessments, you will have useful links that this is a folder or a category where your teachers will be putting all the resources and documents and links and additional studies that they would want you to study if you have a spare time. Then you will have your learning progress, where you can actually see how your unit's going, you know, your assessments progress, your quizzes and stuff like this. All your quizzes will be on TAFE Connect. You will have about maybe 4 to 5 quizzes per semester, together with assessments and with exams, but they all will be different times. So TAFE Connect is a great platform where you can actually get more information on each unit, and you can use that information when you write your assessments. But they will tell you, don't just rely on TAFE information given to you about the unit. You need to do your own research. You have to use other databases and books as well to complete your assessment. So they have a specific requirements for that, which I can cover in a separate videos for you guys, and just tell you how can you prepare yourself for assessments, where can you look for information, you know, and stuff like that, and what would be the easiest ways to find information and put it together to actually do your assessment. Okay guys, so this is how your TAFE Connect will look like. Okay, so basically I have all of this closed because I'm already finished in my other stages, which is stage is the name of the semester, the other name for it would be stage. So you will have semester 1, which equal to stage 1, semester 2 stage 2, and semester 3 stage 3. So when you go here to view all courses, okay, you will have all your courses during all your Diploma of Nursing. Of course, when you are starting semester 1, you're not going to see all of them. You only will see what you will be doing on semester 1. As you can see, those ones are already closed. And the ones that are open now are current that I had in my semester 3. So every semester you will only see the courses that you're studying, plus if you are semester 2, you will see the previous semester 1, but they will be closed, you won't have access to it. Okay, so this is the units. Okay, if you click on one, like for example, let's do apply a palliative approach to in nursing practice. Okay, when you click on a unit and you go to content, you will have here information about the unit. So you will have learning resources, okay, where you can actually get information of topics that will be discussed for this unit, okay, either in a class or just given to you here, okay. So if you click on it and you go next, it gives you description on certain topics that's covered in palliative care unit, okay. If you go back again, then you have your unit schedule here, okay, and you have discussions that students can have amongst themselves. If they want to discuss something online, then you will have your assessment, okay, and they will give you here information of how to upload your assessment and stuff like that. And then here you will have supplementary resources where teachers can put for us web links, documents, or videos regarding that unit. So either I mentioned that it would be called additional resources, but I'm sorry, it's called supplement resources. Okay, so you will have the same thing for each of and every unit. Okay, you will have your assessments progress. So these were my assessments that I've uploaded earlier, you know, and this is the score that I've gained and stuff like that. Then you will have your quizzes. If you have a quiz, I didn't have a quiz for this unit. Then you will have your grades, okay. Then you will have discussions, if you have any discussions with other students and stuff like that. Here you will have your messages. Here you will have your notifications that I don't have any because we already finished the course. The second database that you will be using when you do your assessments, okay, in terms of information, is something called the clinical key for nursing. Clinical key can be used for all medical professionals, including doctors as well. So here you will have books, journal, clinical trials, guidelines, nursing scales, you know, and all of this type of research and materials. Here you can type what you're looking for, you know, and or you can just browse. So pretty much here you will have all other books for nursing, okay, that you might not have in hands. And what I mean by this, for example, you will be offered to buy some books in the beginning of this studies if you want to, you know, that would have information for clinical skills, you know, for other practical knowledge and stuff like that. If you don't have this money and you don't want to buy the books, you're an online person, you prefer to study something online, you can go to this clinical key and you can find these books actually here. Not all the books will be here. Some of the books or latest editions might not be here just yet, but they might appear later on. So basically this database will allow you to look for the books that you can't afford buying it and completing your assessments. Okay, clinical key subscription is included into your fees for the course. I think it's about $60 per year if you don't study anywhere but you work in the medical field and you want to just learn something for yourself, you know, or get the points for upper registration. You can do your own subscription to this database and pay yearly fees to use it on yourself. But when you're a student, you will have this already included into your course payment. So this is all what I wanted to show you pretty much. This is where you can get information when you're studying, and of course you can use Google. Just make sure that you're using authorized sources like government websites, you know, something that is not just written by someone somewhere on a blogs or vlogs, you know, or chats and forums and stuff like that. Don't use that information. Always make sure that you're using authorized resources like government websites, for example. Okay guys, next is going to be how do you apply. So here in Queensland we have a third party which you can apply through, which called QTAC. Okay, so with TAFE, again, it might be different to each area. In my area with TAFE, you could either apply through QTAC or you can apply actually directly. I've done direct apply, so I went to my campus and I filled in all the documents, and that was done pretty much. If you do through QTAC, you have to pay $79 per application. I don't see a point doing it through QTAC if you have an opportunity to actually do it directly through the campus. Okay, this will cost you $0 to do it that way. But I guess for some people who may be putting TAFE and uni together in their list of institutions where they want to apply to gain their profession, maybe then it will make sense, because for most of institutions like unis and stuff like that in Queensland, you have to do your application through a QTAC, okay? But I knew for myself that I'm going to be studying at TAFE, and this is what I wanted, and I was not going to go anywhere else or to choose from. I knew which campus I'm going to, I know which course I'm going to and stuff like that. So I've called them and I asked, guys, can I apply directly? And they said, yes, you can. So I've done it directly. So for me, it was zero money paid. Next, what other costs will involve in your course? So at your first semester, you will need to be required to do first aid and also CPR, okay? So that will be provided with no cost by the TAFE. You don't have to pay for it. It will be included into your course for the first time. Okay, so first aid you have to do every 3 years. Okay, it's valid only for 3 years, whereas CPR valid only for 1 year. So first time TAFE will have it for free for you. Well, basically it's not going to be for free, it's going to be included into your course. And once your CPR is expired, and usually it happens on the 3rd semester when you have to do your final placements, before your final placements begin, you have to renew your CPR. And then they will tell you you can either do at TAFE, but you have to now pay by yourself, or you can find any provider anywhere you want and book with them, pay the money and do it, and show a certificate that you finished as a proof. So I've done it in my area, and I remember I paid $39 just for CPR because my first aid is still relevant for another year. So I only needed to renew my CPR. So I booked it online by myself, I paid my fees, and when I finished, they actually gave me option if they can send it directly by email to TAFE, or you can email it to me, and also they can mail to you certificate itself in a paper form to your mailbox. Okay, so I've chose to be mailed to me to my mailbox, and also sent to me by email, and then I forward it to my TAFE. So this will be another course that you will need to do. So pretty much you don't have to do your first aid during your course, but then for me, when I go now to uni after 2nd year of my uni, because I'm jumping into 2nd year, I will need to do my first aid. Okay, Next, other costs that you will need to pay is your uniform. Okay, so TAFE will tell you that you will need to buy a TAFE polo shirt, which is compulsory. You have to do it. Okay, so the shirt, I think it was $38 or $39, so roughly it's almost 40 bucks for one shirt. And I would suggest you to buy two. So each shirt will be a black color. It will have a logo of TAFE. You probably have seen it from some of my vlogs when I was going to one of my placement, how it looks like. Just if you haven't, just go to one of my playlists of my daily life vlogs and just have a look how it looks like. You will find one of the videos there. So I would suggest to you to buy two. The reason to that is that when you will have your placements in a hospital, you will have 5 days or 6 days in a row shifts. So you will need to attend hospital all those 5 or 6 days in a row. I wouldn't recommend you to wear the same shirt after you finish your shift, dealt with different clients or patients, and you came home, you carrying all this bacteria, all these germs and stuff like that to your home, and then wearing the same shirt the next day. Okay, I wouldn't recommend that. This is why I would suggest you to buy two. So when you finished one shift, you put it to wash, next day you have a clean shirt, and then vice versa, you just change them and you wash it all the time. So as with the pants, and the shoes are all right, so just pants and t-shirts. So for myself, I've got two t-shirts, which was almost $80 together. And what you can do later on, once your course is finished, just make sure that you keep them in a good condition so that you can resell it. I resold my ones for half price down, so I put on sale $20 each, and my ones were in really good condition, and I had a person bought it a day after I posted the ad pretty much. So yeah. So with the pants, buy two pair of pants as well. Pants can be bought from anywhere. They will tell you can buy any sort of pants, like as long as they're not too tight and stuff like this. Just keep it like straight leg or just a normal like an office style, but not too tight. You have to be presentable, you know, when you're working in the medical field, you know, and stuff like that. So they will tell you buy any black pants as long as it's black, not too tight. Okay, like it's not leggings, you know what I mean. So you can buy it from anywhere. I bought my one from Target, I remember, and I think I bought it for like $19 or something. Okay, and then later on I bought my pants as well from Aldi. They brought like a cotton wide leg pants, straight wide leg pants, and they were so similar to a website that's called eNurse, where you can find your scrubs, your nursing uniforms, your nursing items and stuff like that. So they were really similar to that style. So pretty much, yes, you will need to have two pants, and then they will tell you you will need to have a black shoes, pair of black shoes that have to be either from leather or something that is really thick material. So if in case you drop a needle that's been already injected with certain medication to the patient, and you dropped it on your foot and went through the soft fabric and it pricked your skin, okay, you might have maybe some sickness or disease, whatever. We don't know. There are different type of patients in the hospitals. Some of them even don't know if they have certain disease, for example. So we have to protect ourselves. So this is why they tell you in this case, you know, of things like that, you have to have a firm fabric shoes. Okay, so again, they will tell you buy shoes from anywhere, you know, whether it's Target, Big W, or Skechers, which is a bit more expensive. Like I never bought Skechers usually 180 and above, you know, but I bought shoes recently which is similar to Skechers, and I paid only $18, and I think I will film another video about it because I will be shopping now for my uniform for uni, and I think I will make it like a separate video of what I will be buying for my placements for my Bachelor of Nursing. Okay, then they will tell you if you want to, you can buy a nursing bag, like a patch, This one you can buy from eBay. Basically you can buy it for $6. I remember I paid for mine one $6.99. It was a black color. They will give you choices of different colors, and this bag is very handy for you because you can put your pen in it, you can put your highlighter, you can put your torch, medical torch or nursing torch in it for your neuro obs. You can put in it your medical pocketbook where you can have all your meds in it. You can put gloves and stuff like that. So that thing was really handy for me. So I bought one. And then for your labs, okay, labs is something that you will have every semester. So you will have your classes where you will be taught theory, and then you will have your labs where you will be practicing the theory into practice. So basically whatever you've learned in a class, you will be doing it in action, and you will be practicing either on each other's when you do OBS, checking vital signs, or you will be practice on a special mannequins that will be playing role of a patient, you know, and we will have several beds in each lab. So I'll talk about labs again a little bit later in different videos because it's a specific topic and there is more things to talk about. So they will give you option, your teachers, whether you want to buy a stethoscope and a blood pressure cuff if you want to. Some of us did. I think the whole class actually bought it, but then if you don't want to spend money on it, you can use the ones that are available in labs. We will have maybe like 4 to 5 additional ones in labs. You can just use it while you're practicing in lab and just clean it with the wipe and put it back again. Or you can buy your own one. Again, you can either buy it from eNurse website, which will be a little bit more expensive, or you can buy it from eBay, okay? So it's up to you, like you can choose where you want to buy it. It's not strictly from a specific brand or something like that. Okay, so that is additional if you want to. And again, whatever you're buying for your studies, if you're working, keep all the receipts to claim this in the end of the financial year from your tax. This is important, okay? Next, what I wanted to say, how many days per week I was studying to be being in a full-time, okay? We actually supposed to be 4 days a week. This is what students were doing before my intake started. So when I started my course, TAFE just changed that year to make it 3 full days a week, okay? And the 4th day, it was still in a system, but that 4th day was dedicated to individual learning at home, okay? So of course all of us did take that day, and we were doing our assessments, and we were spending even more time than that additional day of doing our assessments. So pretty much you will have 3 days full at TAFE. You will have usually classes starting from 9 o'clock and finishing either at 4 or 5. And sometimes in some of the semesters you might have 2 full days completely, and then the 3rd one would be half a day only, where you will have only labs for 3 hours and then maybe 1 unit before or after it, okay? So just keep in your mind that full-time study, you will need to spend a lot of time on campus, okay? And if you're working at the same time, this will just add on busyness to your life, you know, because it's going to be busy. Plus you will need to do a lot of assessments, so it's going to be full on. And you know, a lot of people actually say when you start nursing school, forget about your private life and your life in general, okay? Partly it is true, because it does take a lot of time and dedication to actually finish this course. But again, I will talk about this more in details, again, according to my own experience, what I went through and stuff like that in a separate video. Okay, stationery. Do you need to buy stationery? Well, you can buy something like this. You can buy a notebook, just a simple notebook, and black pen. They will train you from the beginning of the course, only use black pen, because in a hospital, when you will be doing your placements or when you get the job in a hospital, the only color ink they use is black, and then the pharmacist will be using purple one, okay? So they will tell you, if you buy any stationery, please make sure that your pen is a black color. Then you can buy some highlighters. I like to buy highlighters because I like to highlight certain parts of my notes when I write down notes during the class time, Okay, so I would suggest to buy that. And that's pretty much it. Like, you don't need much. If you want, you can have a small notebook like this for each subject, or you can have one big one for all subjects, or you can buy A4 bigger one with the sections in it that you can divide and name for each subject as well. I was really simple through my studies. I had one book like this, but black color, where I had all my subjects in it. Okay, I was just dividing it by myself with the bookmarks. So yeah, this is it pretty much for stationery. Next part that I wanted to talk about, and which will be the last one, books. Do you need to buy books? Well, some of the teachers will advise you to buy, okay, but then I'm gonna be like persistent. They would say like, you must buy, it's compulsory. No, it's not compulsory. Okay, it's up to you totally. There are some books that are really useful for us to have for our assessments, and basically the library that is provided by TAFE on each campus will have a certain amount of books, certain number of books to be borrowed. So for example, for clinical skills, you know, you will have maybe 5 books only in the whole library. So if you will have, let's say, 40 students in your class, and they went before the assessment to borrow that book, okay, it's going to be gone just like that. Okay, and they will tell you you can borrow, I think it was up to 2 or 3 weeks, and then you have to return it, and you can't, if the book is in a high demand, you can't renew it again. You have to return it and then someone else take it. So in this case, would be really good to actually do a group study where you can share the book together in the library and just do your own notes and stuff like that. Or you can use your clinical key, the one that I showed earlier, but on clinical key there are some books are not there, like the last editions and stuff like that. So therefore teachers will tell you you can buy books if you want to, okay? And at my campus at TAFE, we used to have a bookshop, and you can find all the latest editions of the books that you need, okay? The only problem that they are quite expensive, okay? For example, when I was finishing my semester 3, we were studying wound management, okay? And we were talking about dressing types and stuff like that. And there is a book for that, which new would cost $70, okay? It's quite expensive. Or clinical skills books, they are quite expensive too. They are like $140, $150, you know, or $120. So it's up to you if you want to buy some, okay? What I suggest to do is look on Facebook Marketplace, okay? Some of the previous ex-students who finished their diplomas and no longer need these books, they sell it. But they will sell it probably like the prices that I've seen. If the book in a shop costs $120, they would sell it maybe $60 or $50. If you're really lucky, you might find maybe previous editions, okay, for $20, okay? But for assessments, they will tell you do not use books that are older than 5 years time, okay? Try to use something that is more recent years, okay? What I do for my own learning, okay, when I want to educate myself, I go to op shop or thrift shops, and you can watch a video. I will link a video in the description box below of how I search for books, medical books for myself, where I buy it from and stuff like that, if you want to watch that. So I go to those shops and I buy these books from there, and it literally cost me like pennies. It's so cheap. I spend $2, $1, $3, maximum maybe $5, you know, if the book is like closer to the latest editions, and I buy it from there. So yeah, if you have friends who finished nursing before, ask them if they need their books. If not, offer them to buy it from them, you know, maybe you can negotiate the price and stuff like that. So yeah, so don't look into buying too many books, because some of the books, when you finish your diploma of nursing, you won't use it again. And if you spending $100 on each book, because every semester you will have a different unit, if you will be buying books for every semester, you will find yourself spending hundreds of dollars, you know, for the books. Which again, if you are an old school person who loves to hold an actual book, a hard copy, go on. If you have money, buy it, you know. But if you don't, there are other ways to, as I said, you can use TAFE Connect. For additional information, you can use Google website, government websites, you can use Clinical Key, and you can forge books in places like Facebook Market or op shops. So I think that would be pretty much it. I'm just looking quickly through my bullet points of what I wanted to talk about. Yes, I think pretty much it. This is when you just start in Diploma of Nursing. So basically do your research. Okay, I already shared with you now information regarding your financial part of how much it will involve according to my experience. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and I will try to answer them all. This is why pretty much I'm doing this type of videos, because I know that nursing profession is very popular these days. Okay, a lot of people take this profession because they like to help people, they like to look after someone, they want to maybe step into a medical field, or they just want to have a stable job that they won't have any problem of getting it, whether they live in Australia or abroad or traveling from area or state to state, because nurses are always in demand, especially in rural areas. Once you gain this qualification, this profession, you will never be left without a job. You will be always having a job, because as I said, it's really in demand. This is why it's really popular these days. I have some of my friends actually who started nursing after me and who are thinking to start nursing this year as well. So I thought this type of videos will help you with information, and this information is according to my experience, someone who went through this, and I can share this with you. So my next videos will be recorded hopefully later on next week, maybe from Monday or from Tuesday. I'll try to record at least maybe 3 videos per week dedicated to my experience of being a nursing student, and also I will touch some of the topics of my work as well. And yeah, if you have again any questions, just always leave them below and I'll try to answer them. If you want me to record a particular video on a specific topic, okay, let me know as well and I'll try to cover it. For now, thank you for watching. Please, if you like, support my channel by subscribing and liking my videos, and that will just give me a boost to create more videos as well. And for now, I'll see you next time. Bye.